Our primary weapon that we use in the Department of Corrections is the Ruger Mini 14. So all our observation towers, everybody carries one of these. We also use the 40 millimeters for pinned arms. That's to launch direct impact or indirect impact rounds.
The cliche in the media is that America is the land of ever-increasing prison populations. But what Orange is the New Black won't tell you is that 5 years ago, America's prisons reached their maximum capacities, and now inmate numbers are actually declining. For better or worse, felons are being released to the streets, bringing prison culture with them. So one of the most violent prisons in California has been trying to reform that culture with rehab programs. But change is hard.
Prison's this funny thing where it looks like nothing's happening. I mean, they call it timeless time for a reason, but underneath the surface there's a lot happening. There's a lot of racial politics, there's a lot of tension, a lot of games being played. You got nothing to do, they're gonna come up with something to do.
And then, just like the day that preceded it, another incident. This time, a riot involving about 30 inmates at an adjacent facility. Although Salinas Valley State Prison violence is down, 700 incidents per year still breaks down to about 2 per day.
Still not sure if it was Northern Hispanics or Southern Hispanic gangs against whites.
And that equals a lot more work to be done.
There it is. Everybody laying straight down.
And here's the vicious cycle of violence. Inmates join ethnic-based gangs for protection in prison. But then they have to do what the gangs order them to do, including fight with inmates of other ethnic groups.
Basically what I'm seeing is a snapshot ethnic demographic makeup of the housing units of the prison cells. The correctional officers tell me that it's grouped mostly by gang affiliation, right? So you can see that's the only safe way to house people in cells together.
One of the old issues was everything is race-based. You're doing racial segregation. It's easy for somebody on the streets to sit there and say, hey, you're racially segregating.
Yeah.
No, we're segregating by gang, because if you try to put two opposing gang members in the same cell,
they're going to stab each other.
They are going to stab each other.
I'm going to try and talk to some of the inmates. I suspect what you'll see is that nobody wants to talk to me. The gang politics are so strong that they can't actually speak without permission. So you see they'll be polite, but nobody will be willing to engage. What's up, you guys? No cameras? All right. That's a bust.
It's hard to get inmates to talk on the general population yards because they know the gangs are watching. But a yard at Salinas Valley is the SNY, or the Sensitive Needs Yard. It's for inmates who are at risk in general population, some of them because they dropped out of gangs, which is what rehab programs want inmates to do. The SNY yard at Salinas is also level 4, maximum security like the rest of the prison. But here you can actually talk to some more interesting inmates, like Trixie.
When I decided to leave the gang, I decided to work with this and find out myself, why do I like men? Why do I feel like a woman? Why this and this and that? And as I seen psychiatrists, psychologists and all that, we came to the conclusion that I am transgender.
Right.
And that's why I felt the way I felt.
So on top of your crime, you have
slapped with 15 years.
You have 15 years for being part of the gang.
Yeah, and my crime had nothing to do. My crime had nothing to do with how do you call it?
Yeah.
With the benefiting the gang.
Right. I just want to know how important the gangs are in prison.
In prison, the gangs are your life, and to me, when I was an active gang member, my homies meant everything to me. It got to a point where it's kind of sad, but it's true. My homies were more important than my family. When you come in, the officers, when you're stripped down and you get dressed to be an inmate, to do your time, where do you come from, sir? I come from the Mafia gang. I'm from East Los Angeles. You're a Southern Hispanic. You go over there. So they label you off the top.
Yeah.
So when you get into to the prison yard, everyone already knows what set you belong to.
Yeah. And then once you're here, and you were in it for a long time, right? You were
6 years.
You're a shot caller, all that stuff.
I ran yards.
You did.
I put a lot of people in this yard.
And why would you say, like, go stick someone? What would they have done that would make you call a hit on them?
Snitch, work with staff, betrayal to our ways. You know, that's the ultimate
Right.
sin, is to betray your own homies.
Right.
And how to call it. And fail to put in work when asked.
What do you mean by put in work?
Put in work if, you know, sometimes you got to go to one of your enemies and make an example of who you are. You earn your respect by
stabbing people.
Putting in work, hurting them, you know, really taking their wind out. And the term was with a knife. When you have a knife, is use it or wear it.
Do you feel bad about the people you ordered hits on?
No, because they deserve it. It's just the way it works, you know.
So I just came over from Delta Yard on the GP yard. Nobody would talk to me.
They're not supposed to. If they talk to you, they're contributing to, they're exposing. Like the questions you ask, it would be like a debriefing question.
Yeah.
You know, so they would get dealt with, definitely. They can't even talk to officers.
So what would happen if those guys talked to me?
If there's nobody in the yard that's running it, they might get away with it, but I doubt it. They can get hurt. Actually, I came in with 10.
Yeah.
And then I picked up 15, and then I picked up 10, and then I picked up 5.
So you could have been out.
Oh yeah. I could have been out a long time ago. And all that. I could have been out like, that's the game.
Yeah.
I left.
Yeah. Are there other people who are up for parole? You are too? My fellow veteran over here?
I'm going in July.
You are?
You got to give up the gang life, you know what I mean? You got to give up the way of life you were living on the main line. As far as hurting people, you know, plotting on people, you know.